Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and now we have the official patch notes for the not an April Pools update, featuring new uniforms for Gwenpool and Deadpool, as well as artifacts for them, and a tier 3 for Gwenpool. There's a bunch of events going on at the same time, like they're going to be releasing after this update lands. This is a mid-month update, so the patch will be scheduled to be completed as a rolling update, so there's no maintenance, things like that. And it should be tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, which is 11 p.m. Eastern time, and then, you know, even later into the night or into the next day morning for people in Europe and Asia. So, what has gotten everybody upset? The forums are on fire. Reddit is on fire for the first time in years. That place was a smoldering heap, but now it's been reignited. Let's check it out. We have a full cost uniform for Deadpool, who is now looking like Gwenpool. And then we have a token uniform for Gwenpool. And now a token uniform for Gwenpool means that you're going to have to, and I want to stress this, you must spend real money to get this uniform. Because every year people ask, how do I get these new tokens? And they're different than all the other tokens. They're different than the Hawkeye token event, which are free tokens. And like the other events, they will be giving away 10 free tokens from a login event that lasts 7 days. But then you will still have to fork over $20 to get packages in the game, in the shop, that will give you the last 20 tokens that you need to buy this uniform. So I think before we talk about if these uniforms are good or not, we should probably just address the elephant in the room, which is that after 3 years, a little bit over 3 years, Gwenpool is finally getting a rework. However, nothing is changing as far as the status of her uniform. So if you didn't buy this winter uniform, the holiday party uniform, because it was paywall, then you're basically never going to tier 3 Gwenpool. I mean, I guess you could tier 3 her with her base look, we're talking like regular Gwenpool, right? I can't even, anyways, regular Gwenpool. But this uniform, it's still going to be paywall this Christmas coming up. And the new uniform is also paywall, which means that, yeah, basically we have our, like, these are now fully paywall characters that basically don't have any value for you if you don't spend money on this game. And that's okay on the one hand as a general idea, but I do understand that players are upset, and a lot of players are upset because we waited 3 years for Gwenpool to get a uniform and it's still paywall. You know, when it comes to paywall stuff, especially at a random time like a month before the anniversary, like the timing of this is also pretty bad if you look at it that way. It's a month before the anniversary and they want you to spend money at the anniversary, and you want to spend money at the anniversary because that's when the best deals are on, right? You're a smart consumer. So for them to be asking you to spend money a month before the anniversary for a character who you may have spent money on 3 years ago, right? Even for people who spent money on her, I know it's been 3 years, so I sort of joke that you've gotten your money's worth. But at the same time, not really, because you couldn't take her into any endgame content until now anyways. So sort of for all players, whether they supported this idea or not, they're kind of feeling shafted. So there's that. On top of the fact that we now have a precedence that they'll probably keep for all future paywall uniforms for all of the other hot female characters like Silk, Enchantress, Black Cat. I may have missed one or two because there's so many now, White Fox. And so basically, when I just named those 4 characters, if you didn't buy their paywall uniforms, hoping that you would see a uniform for them in the future that wasn't paywall, that's probably never going to happen unless they are directly featured in MCU content. That is your only hope, ladies and gentlemen. So write a letter to Kevin Feige or something and request that Black Cat or Enchantress or whoever gets fast-tracked. Apparently there's rumors that Enchantress is going to be in season 2 of Loki, Disney Plus, so that would be an opportunity to get a non-paywall uniform. But otherwise, it seems like they have no reason to, or they have no desire to sort of go back and forth with these characters, and they just want to set them on one path, which is money. Now, the other issue with this is that they're not really giving us very much this month in terms of overall content. Like, yeah, we had the story mode fragment farming, which is really great. and people are still loving that. But with just the Hawkeye stuff and now just the Gwenpool, Deadpool stuff, and this one being paywall, it does sting a little bit harder. So I can understand why players are even more upset than usual. I think that Netmarble needs to work on. Listen, I know this is a greedy game because it's a mobile game, and that's just inherent. And I know that it's also not the greediest mobile game because things like Marvel Strike Force and Marvel Contest of Champions exist, and that's only within the network of Marvel games. If you go outside of Marvel games to some of the other games out there like Raid Shadow Legends, etc., you can find some truly abhorrent games that will charge you literally thousands of dollars to get a new character. So $30 to get a character really, you know, blushes in comparison to literally thousands of dollars. I mean, look at what was it? Fate Grand Order, I think it is. There's a waifu gacha game where the creator of the game couldn't. There's a joke that the guy who created the game was gambling for the waifu that he wanted for 5 years, and he couldn't get her, so he designed a free event to get her for free. But I digress. The point being is, I think Netmarble needs to work on sort of take with one hand, give with the other kind of strategy, where if they're going to ask us for these tokens more often and they're going to ask us to pay $20 for a uniform more often, they need to give more during those events to offset the way players feel. And they haven't done that at all. Spoiler alert, by the way. They haven't done that at all in this update. There are some free stuff in the events coming up, but they're just generic free stuff that we've gotten used to. Login events, energy spending events, that kind of stuff. They need to go a little bit further with this. And maybe, for example, saying if you buy this uniform, you get the old one for free. You get the holiday party uniform for free. I don't know. That's probably not a good idea, but you sort of get what I'm saying. Like, they should have given more, because this feels like an April Fool's prank on the players. And it feels like if you want to participate in this April Fool's, which is not really a holiday anyways, like it's mostly a Western thing to begin with, but if you want to participate in this April Fool's, you have to pay money. So having to pay money to participate in an event that's supposed to be for the players, right? Like Halloween and all these other holidays are supposed to be events for players, not for the devs, not for, you know, the managers to line their pockets with money. So they should really focus on giving more during these events. So that's sort of how I feel about it. I have definite mixed feelings. Gwenpool getting a tier 3, I'm happy about. It seems like both these uniforms, spoiler alert again, synopsis here, they both look good. They both look powerful. So again, I'm happy to see that these characters are getting their reworks that they deserve, but not really like this. I'd prefer it to be in a way that is not so expensive. So yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I just wanted to get that out of the way at the beginning because I know that's what's on everyone's mind. Sorry for the long 8-minute soliloquy, but yeah, it's something that I think the devs need to work on, that the marketing team needs to work on, whatever the advertising people need to work on, because it seems like they want to do these events a lot. They want to do it in April, they want to do it for summer, they want to do it for winter, maybe they want to do it for Halloween, maybe Lunar New Year, right? So if you're going to do these events more often, you got to get them right. You got to be more generous with these events. Especially when you're asking players to fork over real money. So let's take a look at these uniforms here. Deadpool is getting some really nice buffs, 30% HP increase, 10% chain hit, 20% guaranteed dodge. They're changing his leadership, which I'm not a big fan of in terms of the lore, because he's a selfish dude in the comics, right? But now his leadership applies to all allies, not just himself. So all allies get 40% attack, 40% defense, and 15% all speed. Again, it's a full cost uniform like Kingpin's, etc. But this is a pretty dope rework, I gotta say. His passive is still 65% heal with a 4% heal and guaranteed crit rate and skill damage bonus damage. So his two passives haven't changed. And then by and large, it seems like his regular skills haven't, like he probably has new skill animations because he has new names like Deadpool, Deadly Pool Duo, Grand Goodbye Gift. And he also has some new effects. Like he keeps the iframe ignore on 1, but now he has a 1.2% accumulation for 8 seconds. Accumulation is very nice for PvE content. And he has penetration, invincibility, super armor, all defense, fracture. So they're giving him a lot of new effects. They are increasing the cooldown on a lot of his skills, so he might be a little bit harder to play. You know, you got 18 seconds, 18 seconds, 18 seconds. So 3 skills with a 9-second cooldown is going to be a little bit awkward. We'll have to wait and see how that works. But yeah, he's looking like a contender. Like he'll be able to compete again with the top speed characters, and that's good, right? It's bad that it's 700 crystals more than it should be, but it's good that he's not so garbage, right? Because if you compare him to like Captain Falcon and Spider-Man, it's a joke, man. Like his old uniforms just don't even come close in PvE or PvP. And then for Gwenpool, she's getting a lot here, a lot. So her uniform effect gives her an extra 4% pierce to self, and it gives Deadpool an extra 4% pierce. So she has a support buff for herself. And it also, sorry, for Deadpool, I should say. 4% pierce is not that much, though. I've seen people on the forums like losing their minds over this 4% pierce. Guys, Thena has 5% pierce. She's not even the best. She's not even, or maybe she's the best universal for PvE content. But like, you know, it's not the end of the, like 5% pierce even. It doesn't, look, Null has 5% pierce. Look where he's at, right? So yeah, and then the 25% chain hit is pretty crazy. I believe his uniform, yeah, his leadership also gives Gwenpool, so they sort of like buff each other. His leadership gives Gwenpool increased basic damage dealt to boss types by 60%. Now, basic damage dealt to boss types is not the same thing as basic attack. So I think his leadership is actually going to be insane for Gwenpool. So they're really pushing this team as a duo, which is also going to make some players salty because I think that's what they wanted to see more for Kate and Clint, who don't have any like support buffs back and forth. But I digress. That was, I guess, the choice that they went with, the direction that they went with that. It is what it is. She keeps her heal. She keeps her guaranteed dodge, 35%, and her skill damage bonus. She also has a 100% chance to penetrate, super armor, immune, and invincible, which is crazy. 100% chance. I think this is the first time we see this. I'm not 100% sure. 100%. But she doesn't have any penetration of shield. So for those of you wondering, oh my god, she's going to be able to hit any character no matter what? Almost. But characters like Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, etc., who give themselves a very big shield with like 20 hits, she's going to have to chew through that individually, one at a time, and that's probably going to spell disaster for her. And then she has presumably five new skills. I'm not 100% sure. Again, I haven't looked at Gwenpool's kit in 3 years. She also has accumulation like Deadpool. She also has paralysis, decrease all defense. She has another heal, interestingly enough. She has a passive heal and an active heal with invincibility, and then she has a frenzy buff. She doesn't have as many buffs on her skills as Deadpool does, but she does have stronger passives with 25% chain hit instead of 15, and the 100% penetration with the 35% guaranteed dodge, but she doesn't have guaranteed crit rate that Deadpool does have. So that's the only other big sort of difference between them offensively, and her accumulation is a little bit lower. But yeah, and then we get her new tier 3 skill. The skill itself doesn't have any crazy new passive or buff effects, but the new animation, because it's not here in the patch notes, looks like this. It's actually a really cool animation, and it gives me a lot of Deadpool slapstick comic vibes. So if you're a comic book fan, this is pretty much peak MFF, right? Really good comic authentic animations that look really nice with text and kabooms and explosions and bombs. No helicopters, though. No helicopters this time, I think. So yeah, this is the motorcycle kaboom. And I think there's someone else. Is it Jeff riding? Is Jeff the shark riding the motorcycle? Someone's driving the motorcycle. I can't exactly tell. It's hard to tell. It goes by so fast. I think Jeff is driving the motorcycle. I'm not 100% sure. Jeff the shark. Okay, and then we have new artifacts for Deadpool and Gwenpool. Good thing, good news here. Neither artifact seems to break the bank. So for those of you worried about artifacts, taking over the game and being required for you to build characters, no thanks. Deadpool has the arrow artifact, which is not very good. It may be better for PvP, but again, I don't think this is going to make or break his existence in PvP, if he has any. It'll be more about his stats and his animations and things like that. And then Gwenpool's just gives her ignore, dodge, and basic attack. So again, these artifacts are more like gravy. It's not the steak. It's not the, what's really important and what's going to make or break these characters is not here. So that's good. You can basically ignore these artifacts. And then that's it. That's the update. Okay, so with that being said, let's just quickly go through the events. We have all uniforms 40% off. You want to skip this. You don't want to buy uniforms right now, unless you're buying Deadpool's uniform. because there's going to be a 50% uniform sale in 30 days or less, because the anniversary is right around the corner. So I needed to make this, I needed to put this in the video, I needed to stress this. If you really want Deadpool's uniform, you have to buy it in the next like 2 weeks or whatever, because then it will disappear until next April Fools. That's how these things work, and same thing goes with Gwenpool. However, if you don't care and you want to skip it, then you also want to skip this here, because like I said, there's a 10% discount, better as 50% discount coming very, very soon. We have the hero growth mission, which is whatever. We have an energy mission, which is just free rewards, which is nice, but again, they should have had way more of these for this event. We have a 7-day login event with really average rewards. The only thing worth talking about is at the very end, day 7, you get 10 of the tokens that you need for Gwenpool. So if you are, you know, hell bent on buying her uniform, wait for the 7th day, and then get 20 more tokens from purchases in the shop. And then there's some surprise gift, which is whatever, blah, 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 character ranking event. And then as far as the packs go, just very, very quickly here, the cheapest way to get your extra 20 tokens is just to buy offer for agents number 1 2 times. Because if you buy it the first time, it gives you 10 tokens. And if you buy it the second time, it gives you 10 tokens. There's a limit of 2 times, and then you're done. If you don't want to wait 7 days and you want to spend a little bit more money, you can buy the offer for agents number 2, and it'll give you 30 tokens. Just get it over with, done, clean and simple. You know, wash your hands of this as fast as possible. Alternatively, there's the Gwenpool Deception Chest, which again, also $10, also 10 tokens. It gives you fewer crystals, but it gives you these chests that can have 5- and 6-star cards. So for those of you that enjoy that more than just getting an extra 200 crystals, knock yourself out. And then just like, I want to be fair, as much as I don't like what they're doing with this update and this sort of strategy with the tokens and stuff. I did cover these card packs last time, like the last 2 times they did this. This one is not as good as some of the other ones. It's not as good as the Baby Spidey one. So in general, I would give this like a 4 out of 10. The only reason why I'm talking about it is because now, like, normally this event or this thing happens and it's the same cost, right? Except there's no tokens. So technically, it's slightly more value because you also get the uniform. But this card, right? The only premium card that you get, because these other 4 cards are non-premium. This Unbelievable Gwenpool number 17. This is only for PvP players. So if you're not interested in PvP, you're completely ignoring this. It's 0 out of 10. If you are interested in PvP and you have money to spend for whatever reason and you don't want to wait for the anniversary for whatever reason, then it's a 4 out of 10. That's still not very good, but I wanted to bring it to your attention before the store gets flooded with packs. And then this is the shop. This is the token shop. This is the last thing for the video today, guys. I know this is going to upset some people, but they're going, like, listen, the game, for whatever reason, Marvel Future Fight, not the animators, the advertising and the marketing people, they struggle to understand. They struggle to find ways to monetize this game properly. And when I say properly, it's like it can't feel too predatory or too scummy or scammy, but it also can't be too cheap because then they don't make enough money, right? Like, so it's got to be a balance. Like, obviously the Stark Stash, they're losing money on the Stark Stash. Not losing money, but like compared to other games, right? But then other stuff like this is pretty hilarious. So if you decide to spend an extra $25 for whatever reason, you can get the power saving mode theme Spider-Man. And make no mistake, they chose their power saving modes carefully. They really did. So if you want to flex on, I guess, the people in your life who are going to be around you in your power-saving Marvel Future Fight, some people are going to want this theme because they're Spidey fans. I'm torn here, guys. It's funny, but it's also kind of sad. It's like a haha, you know? It's like you're laughing at the clown who's looking for a job, sort of thing. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about this one, man. It's not that much, but it's also a lot. I don't know, man. I'm all over the place on this one. I think, yeah, this is something else. And then the rest of this stuff, again, you have to use these playful tokens. So the rest of this stuff is just absurdly overpriced, like hilariously overpriced. I don't know what they're thinking. They gotta look at this again, because, like, look at this. Like, this is so... Okay, look, the April Fool's Day exclusive artifact selector, which Okay, only specific artifacts can be chosen. We'll have to wait and see who's in this artifact selector. It doesn't matter because no one's going to spend that much money to get it, okay? But I just want to point out, this costs 450 tokens. The tokens have a pretty much 1-to-1 ratio with dollars. So you spend $10, you get 10 tokens. You spend $30, you get 30 tokens. So this costs the equivalent of $450. Now, I understand that you're not just throwing $450 away. You are getting crystals and packs that have other things in them. So your $450 is like 40,000 crystals and a bunch of tier 3 materials or whatever. But you gotta be taking the piss with this one, right? Which is a British expression. Like, you gotta be kidding me. $450 worth of packs for a 4-star artifact selector, or for free. It's free. It's literally free real estate. It's literally free. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about? What like, who? Guys, just have a little bit of, you know, brain activity, please. This should be like 100. If it was 100, I would honestly consider buying it. I want to give you money, but you're making it so hard when you do stuff like this. Anywho, that's the update, guys. I'll see you guys tonight. I'll be live at 11 p.m. and I'll be getting both uniforms and testing them out for you, so you guys can know, for you meta chasers out there who are, you know, really looking for the top of the pops for these characters. But for the vast majority of players, especially with the update around the corner, especially with Multiverse of Madness around the corner, I think this update is a skip. I hate to say that, especially since the update's not even here and it's such a toxic attitude to have. So please understand if you're watching, and thanks for still watching. Please understand that I'm not saying that lightly, you know, but I do genuinely think a lot of players are looking at this update and saying the whole update's a skip, and they're just going to log in and pretend the update doesn't exist and do their dailies and log out. And that's really not what you want. So I think the devs need to take a step back, and they really need to reflect on why players are looking at this update and seeing it's a skip, right? We're not looking to get everything for free. We're not, you know, cheapos, but but the opposite is also not true, right? We're also not looking to get suckered into spending money on a holiday that's not even a real holiday. You know, like, I'll spend money on Christmas. I'll spend money on Halloween. I'm not April Fools. Come on. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And I'll see you tonight. Take care.